You're with us here on Wipro fourth quarter earnings special. As always, joining me to talk about the earnings is Mr. TK Kurien, CEO, IT Business and Executive Director at Wipro. Suresh Senapaty is Executive Director and the Chief Financial Officer at the company. Both join me to take us through what the fourth quarter looked like, and as always, a bit about the next year as well. Gentlemen, thanks very much. Great to have both of you here. Mr. Kurien, I want to start with you. So, IT services revenues this quarter have seen a growth of about 0.5% quarter on quarter. Your guidance was for growth between 0.5% to about 3%. What happened?
So, a couple of things, Prashant. Again, the number that you have, if you look at the range that we had guided, our bottom end of the range based upon the new currency that we have taken, that we've got during the quarter, is 1572. So the number that you have has to be adjusted to 1572. On a quarter-on-quarter basis, our constant currency, our growth has actually gone up by 1.4% because we have had headwinds on the cross-currency piece. So that's the way the results should be seen. The second and more important part of it is, if you look at our margin play, we have had a 0.7% headwind on margin. In spite of that, we have come in at 20.2, which really means that there's been an improvement of 0.1 on the overall operating margin on a constant currency basis. And if you look at volume has gone up by 2.5%. And if you look at year-on-year pricing, our year-on-year pricing has gone up by 4.2% on-site and 2.7% offshore, which is significant given the fact that if you look at the industry itself, you've seen pricing declines right across the board. So that's been the positive. So overall, if you look at a quarter, I would say an execution quarter again.
Mr. Senapaty, you want to come in? I mean, your first quarter guidance implies the range of growth between minus 0.6 to plus 1.6. I mean, last quarter we were talking about how the range was a little wide and guidance was a little light. I mean, if anything, this kind of increases those things. How do you look at this guidance that you've put out?
Sure. I think if you look at the quarter four numbers, the volume growth gives us encouragement. The kind of funnel that we have or the kind of deal wins that deals that we are discussing with the customers is giving us very encouragement. But if you traditionally look at Wipro's in quarter one, had generally been a weaker quarter because of the mix of businesses that we have. If you look at it, India business, which is a pretty high weightage so far as Wipro is concerned, is weaker in quarter one as compared to quarter four. So we had a decent quarter four, and definitely the quarter one is weaker in terms of a QOQ being negative so far as the India Middle East part of the business is concerned. And it is only that piece as well as the cross-currency impact that you're seeing in some form, and the tailwind being what it is, you're seeing some of these reflections. But as we go forward in terms of a quarter two and thereafter, we feel very positive about what we are seeing in the market, the sentiment from the customer's perspective and the discussion that is happening. And therefore, in some form, quarter one guidance is in line with the historical weakness that Wipro always has so far as quarter one is concerned.
I mean, Mr. Senapaty, did you see anything in this quarter, and especially towards the close of this quarter, which prompted you to maybe just sort of pull down the guidance a little bit for the first quarter? Anything specifics that you just want to talk about?
No, the specifics are in terms of some of the discussions and contract closures has got pushed out. Had they been closed in quarter four, we would have got the ramp-up benefit in quarter one. But some of them are going to get closed in the current quarter, as a result of which we are more optimistic in terms of what could be, so far as quarter two is concerned, than what we are reflecting in terms of a quarter one number that we talked about.
So Prashant, if I can just kind of add on.
Sure.
Typically in the India business, you would find that the quarter four is a great quarter. Because typically what happens is based upon the spending that is carried out in this particular quarter, you would find there's a peak in quarter four. That goes off in quarter one. Traditionally, we have had sequential declines in quarter one in the India business. And that's reflected in our overall guidance as we've kind of given it for quarter one. As far as the overseas budget income is concerned, outside of India, we clearly see that in a couple of cases, we have had some discretionary expenses being pulled back, but we expect to see that coming back in this quarter. So while it is a quarter-to-quarter phenomenon that we're dealing with, we are pretty confident that growth should come back in quarter 2.
Okay, I mean, we're sort of in first quarter right now. Are you saying Q2 will be much better than Q1? I know it's a little premature, but how much better? I mean, could you put some numbers to it broadly? What are we looking at?
I wish I could.
Yeah.
So Prashant, we don't give guidance on an annual basis. To that extent, if I give you quarter 1 numbers and quarter 2 guidance, then I'm setting the full year guidance out. Yeah. I can't do that. So, but basically, from a demand perspective, it's clearly looking better. How that will reflect in numbers, I cannot comment on.